Hang on. Already messing up. It's been a while. I'm rusty. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to a new episode of Have You Seen This with Frank and
Sarah.
Sarah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello. I'm excited to be back.
Me too. It's been a hot minute. How are you?
Good. It's been I think a week or two since I did one because I've been busy on the weekends. So I've been all right, I'm gonna hold off until this episode, then get back into doing the
I
streams.
feel honored.
Yes. So how have you been since the last episode?
I've been good. I'm in full basic ass bitch fall mode right here. I've had 2 pumpkin spice lattes. I have dug out all of my scarves. I'm very, very happy.
I am so excited. I've been getting some Halloween decorations and whatnot. I even picked up something that I probably will never wear. It's just for display, but I got the ghost face from the new movie Scream, so I was like,
Love it. I was sitting here thinking today, I'm like, oh, I wonder what our next movies are going to be. I'm like, oh, it's spooky season. We're going to be doing movies. But anyways, we'll talk about that at the end. How have you been?
Yes. Oh, great. Busy during the last couple of weekends. And then this past week, I'm like, I'm planning my unboxing. And everything finally came in. So next week is going to be a super unboxing show.
Yes.
And it's going to be ridiculously long because I have the Batmobile. I have the 6 movie Batman pack. I have some Ninja Turtles, Jurassic Park stuff, the works. I'm excited.
Love it. Sounds like fun. Love it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So I see Luke's here. Let's say hello to Luke. Hello, Luke.
Here.
It's been too long.
I know.
Way too long. So, Sarah, since we're all here, let's talk about your movie, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven, and why did you pick it?
All right. So, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven is a book by my favorite author named Mitch Albom. The same guy who wrote Tuesdays with Morrie. This was actually, I discovered today, today is the 20-year anniversary of its release, which I'm like, what? This is so awesome. But it was the first novel he wrote ever, his first piece of fiction, and the first piece of work he had done that was translated for TV. It's a TV movie. It's not big blockbuster, but the story, what I love about this is the story. And it's a interpretation about what happens after we die. So it's based on kind of this scraggly old guy named Eddie, who is actually based on Mitch Albom's actual uncle, Eddie. And it's this guy who just thought, I just got stuck. I never did anything with my life. He worked as an engineer at Ruby Pier, maintenance man. And he just spent his whole life there, really, working on this pier. And the first line in the book is actually with every ending is a new beginning, right? So the book and the movie focuses in on the last hour of Eddie's life and what happens leading up to it. And there's a malfunction in one of the machines or one of the rides that it's one of those droppy rides, and it kind of starts to, the cable breaks. So Eddie's trying to get everybody out of the way, and there's a little girl, and the last thing he remembers is feeling her hands. He tries to save her. And throughout the movie and the book, you're like, oh my God, did he save the girl or didn't he save the girl? What's happening? And it goes on to show this interpretation of heaven that you meet the first thing you do when you die is you meet 5 people. And these 5 people are people that have had some sort of impact on your life, whether you know it or not, right? The first person Eddie meets is this blue man who actually died because when Eddie was a kid, he ran out in the street and the guy got in a car crash and he had a heart attack. So, and each person has some sort of lesson about Eddie's life to distill in him and why it was important and things that he didn't get to learn in life, but gets to learn in death. And then at the end, you find out that you also then become the next 5, right? You wait for your person to come to you to distill your wisdom and knowledge onto them while you wait in your version of heaven, right? And there's actually, I think about a couple years ago, Mitch Albom released a second book called The Next 5 People You Meet in Heaven. And it actually follows the little girl. So not to have a spoiler alert, but it follows the girl that Eddie ends up saving.
Nice.
And it's I mean, that book was destroyed me. It was so sad, as all of Mitch Albom books are. That one was rough. But it's just like I've always loved. I don't know if you remember when we did our anthologies and
Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah,
I remember.
this was one of my books I put in my anthology, and it was like, for those who don't know, we had to pick all these works of art and literary and write about them and why they're important to you. I should have dug it out for this actually, but I've just always loved this movie because, well, one, I'm fascinated by death and dying and that which comes after and interpretations of it. So I just always thought it was a really cool interpretation of what happens after we die.
Yeah.
Now, just like really heartwarming that like Eddie also reminded me of my grandpa a bit of like just kind of believing he never did anything right. He couldn't do anything right. He never graduated school. And then come to find out he helped so many people, like all the people he ever saved, right? He gets to see in the very last scene. And all the people, the impact he had in his life, you get to see that. And I just think it's one of those movies that just makes me think, and I never stopped thinking about it after I saw it. So,
yeah,
or read it. So that's kind of my synopsis. And I'm super curious to hear what Frank thinks, because I was rewatching it from a film perspective. I'm like, okay, this is definitely a TV movie.
But oh yeah,
story.
Definitely a TV movie. Definitely a TV movie. Other than like the budget, and then because like the thing that that was a two-parter originally. So wind the clocks back years ago. So it was 2003. This was a two-part series, I believe, if I'm correct. Because there's a point in the middle of the movie where like Eddie is reset to like his first stage where he's like, I don't believe I did anything. And I'm like, wait a minute, we just spent like an hour and a half of you going through these. I'm like, oh wait, this is part two. This is if you missed the first night, this is just you getting revamped into it. And but yeah, that was like one of the things. And then like the for what they did was pretty good for the budget. I was kind of shocked. I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. They're kind of keeping it to these certain locations and whatnot. But story-wise, for those who don't know, who haven't seen this, it's basically almost like It's a Wonderful Life meets Christmas Carol.
Oh, that's probably why I love it.
it literally is that, because I was watching, I'm like, oh, this is like It's a Wonderful Life. And A Christmas Carol, because instead of the spirits, he's running into people that he ran into in his life. Let's see, before we get going to what I thought about it, there's like things I had flashbacks while watching this. I was like, because I never saw this originally when it aired, but I do remember how popular it was. I remember my grandmother tried to get me to watch it. I was like, I'm not going to watch that. And I do remember
got him to watch it.
Yes. Well, you're better than my grandmother. Just saying. So anyway, I remember that my grandmother wanted me to watch this because I remember the book was huge and I think it was like fresh off the book. And then the other thing was, I was like, oh my God, I remember, because so the Blue Man was a freak, part of the freak show, and he wore like a turban, sort of looked like an Arabian guy and had this Arabian accent, but like he was like a white guy. And I remember there was some controversy at the time. At the time, there was like, why didn't they pick like a different actor for that role? I do remember that, but it stood out to me because it was Jeff Daniels, aka Harry from Dumb and Dumber, aka Harry from Speed. So I was excited to see him in this movie. And then one of the spirits, Ruby, is played by the mom from The Exorcist. So I was like, oh, I know her.
Did not catch that one.
Yeah, what do you call it? Ellen Burstyn. She's the one who plays the mother from The Exorcist. And then who else did I recognize from this movie? I think there was like one more.
The captain was from The Sopranos.
Oh my God, that's right, the captain. Oh my God, the captain. Oh my gosh.
Casting for him, by the way.
He's chewing the scenery. He's like the best part of the movie.
Yes.
I love that. I love that whole sequence. It was really good. And then I do like the performance of the wife, Margaret, whoever that actress was. I liked her. And then I was trying to figure out the twist. I'm like, what is the twist at the end? And you mentioned that the second book's about the little girl. I for sure thought the last person, because it's the afterlife, like there's no time. Time doesn't matter in the afterlife. I for sure thought the fifth person was going to be the little girl. And then you find out that little girl grew up to be like a doctor or something, and she saved even more lives. But it wasn't. It was a different twist. We'll get to it, but hang on. I want to talk about other things though. So Jon Voight is in this, and it made me think about, because like the way he does his performance, I'm like, man, it must be difficult to be an actor, because he really sticks to that Brooklyn accent or whatever he's doing. And I'm like, I wonder how he like keeps that in check so he doesn't go too cartoony, because he does a really good job of keeping it you know, consistent all the way throughout. Because
Mhm.
you could do like a cartoony like Brooklyn accent or whatever, but like he does it really great, and he really sticks with it through the whole movie. I was like, that's awesome, because like the thing is like 2.5 hours, and I'm sure there's more that they cut out. Because I did I listened to like a synopsis of the book. I was like, oh geez, there's like a ton that's cut out, or at least, you know, like they worked their way around. And there was like some things that when I heard from the synopsis of the book, I'm like, oh, that kind of sounds better, or like I finally get that now. Because there's a scene in the movie where he has to forgive his father, and it gave me flashbacks to my own situation. But like it was so weird in this movie, like his father is such a jerk. It's almost like there's no redeeming qualities to this father character. And they do the thing where he went to, like, when the reason why the father died is because he got pneumonia for jumping into the lake or the ocean or whatever to save his friend. And it's almost like he's been such a prick through the whole thing. It's almost like I don't know about forgiveness for him, because he slapped around him, that kid, and then there was no. I kind of felt like they worked their way around that. Like, what happened to the dad? Why wasn't the dad in the afterworld? Because I felt like when he was forgiving his father, I felt like he was just. It was like an entity that wasn't his father. I felt like he was just talking to like a
A
like
ghost.
like not a ghost, because a ghost I would consider his father. This
Right.
was like not an apparition, because that's still a ghost. It's more like a symbol, like a symbol of his father. Like he's almost like talking to a photograph, like you're talking to a photograph of your father or whatever. It didn't. I don't know. I wish there was some interaction between the dad. I don't know if there's that in the book,
I don't.
because no,
It's been. I haven't read
yeah,
the book in like 15 years probably, but I don't think. I think this it unfolded similarly in the book, but I think
yeah.
part of it was like this idea that like he's forgiving his father, but it doesn't mean he needs his approval, or like, it's like kind of
Oh, something like that. Yeah,
like it's almost an act of forgiveness. Like you don't need the person there to forgive, right?
that's kind of true. That's
Yeah. So I think that's kind of like the lesson they're trying to get through is like you don't need this person alive or here
Mhm.
or real to be able to,
Oh,
because
yeah,
I
yeah,
think what Ruby was saying was like anger is a double-edged sword, right? Holding on
yeah, yeah.
hurts you, right?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, because this movie is also about almost like grieving at your own death as well. 'Cause that is true. I would. That's a good. That's a good reason for it, because I just gave me like vibes to my thing, because like the one of my last interactions with my father was like similar, because I was talking to him and he wasn't looking at me, and
Mm.
the same thing happens in this movie. I was like, oh my god, flashbacks to reality. But yeah, the father couldn't even like look him in the eye, and I was just like, I've been there in that situation. But yeah, like you're right, you're totally right, because this whole movie's it's almost like not only is it about like you know, I guess it's about like grieving your own death, like getting over it or like accepting it, like before you even die. Because like if you're reading the book, it's like it's telling you to, you know, forgive yourself, don't hold on to grudges, don't overthink some actions, because some people were doing things for you that you
Mhm.
might not even think of, like the captain. I thought that was a cool twist, because like I called it, but I'm like, the captain shot him. The captain shot him, and then they finally say the captain shot him. I was like, yes,
I did it.
yes, they did it. They did the thing, and I do like how they treat the afterlife in this. I wish there was more, but I guess it's the budget. You can only do so much. But I feel like, oh my god, like I could imagine like a whole like a George Miller type, the guy who did like the Mad Max movie,
Mhm.
or like a Zack Snyder or something, where like the whole like reality changes,
Oh
because
yeah,
there's so many.
it's so cool.
That would be so cool for this movie, because I could like visualize it. I was like, oh man, that would be so cool. And just like how surreal it could be, because I like the idea of jumping around, but I do like the idea of the wife living at different weddings.
Oh, I love that.
She's like jumping to each wedding, waiting for her husband to come back. And I wish, like, because like since the budget, they could only, I think they only went to two, like
Right.
one wherever they're at, and then their own wedding. But like, oh man, I could like imagine like a whole like sequence of them just like going to like different weddings, or like them dancing and like
Mhm.
the weddings changing around them. That would be so cool. But I did like that scene though, like right before he says goodbye to her, like she's in her perfect form. She feels like she's like, this was me at my prime when
Mhm.
I'm smoking hot. And he's like, no, I don't want that.
I want the real you.
I want you. I want the way that you looked the last time I saw you. And I thought like that was the sweetest thing. And the thing that, because Eddie is so damn stubborn through this whole movie, the thing that really bothered me is like he was so like against that pier, that Ruby pier, even though like almost everything in his life that was actually positive was that pier. And it was so weird. It was like it was his what do you call it? What's that place called? Not
Purgatory.
Pot. No, not his Pottersville. It's his where does
Oh,
George Bailey live? Oh
oh,
my god. Why
yeah.
am I forgetting? No, it's Pottersville in the afterworld.
Bethlehem Heights.
No.
Something Heights.
No. Oh god, I gotta Google it. Pull it up, Jamie. Pull it up, Jamie. Okay, but anyway, like it's his. Oh god, I'm so embarrassed by forgetting it. Oh my god, it's not Pleasantville.
Bedford Falls.
Bedford Falls. There we go. There we go. Bedford Falls. Yeah. That Bedford Falls is totally his pier.
Yeah, that's oh, this is why I love this movie.
Yeah, it's totally that, because like one of the sweetest moments I thought in the movie is when she goes into the hospital or wherever she's going, her hospice or whatever, and she looks out and says, "Oh, I could see it from here." And he says, "What, the pier?" And she's like, "No, home." And it's her home because that's where they built her life. She works part-time there, he works there, and he keeps like crapping on. I was like, "Oh my god, don't you not see?" Oh my gosh. And even like it's so funny because I was singing at the end at the movie, because like throughout the whole movie they call him Eddie Maintenance, Eddie Maintenance, and I feel like at the end he finally like fixes himself, because the whole time like he's fixing everything else, but he finally fixes himself up at the end. I was like, oh, that's great. Although there was a sort of a plot line, I was like, is there more in the book? Because in the movie it kind of doesn't go anywhere, but it's like his coworkers. You keep jumping back to them,
I
but there's like,
don't think the coworkers were, if I remember correctly, which I might not, I don't think that was part of the book. I think it was a way of moving the story forward in the movie.
oh yeah, because in the movie it's a bit different, because in the book I think you said that it's like it's more structured, or like you live through the life and then you meet the people or something like that.
If I remember right, it's like it goes from it jumps. So the other thing that was totally forgot until I watched it today is in the book. It's one of those that jump back and forth, like past, present, past, present. And
Oh right, yeah.
single past is set on one of Eddie's birthdays. And I was like, my birthday's on Thursday, and that's why I chose this movie. But I totally forgot about that. So like it follows, like, you know, he meets Marguerite on his birthday, like the funeral is on his birthday. So like
Oh yeah.
all the flashbacks, you don't.
But it's my birthday.
I was like, oh, it's perfect. So you kind of live like, and then he dies on his birthday.
That I don't remember that in the movie, but yeah.
Yeah, you miss it because it's like when he walks into the maintenance headquarters, they're like, "Happy birthday, Eddie!" Right?
That's right. That's right. They called him for his birthday, and he was like, "What? It's just another day." But I kind of found that odd. Like everything is like connected to his birthday. I'm like, what is this day? Like,
yeah,
like all the worst things happen on this day. This birthday.
It's so interesting though, because it's like it's that full circle of life. You know, it's like it comes back, right? Your birth and your death but it's just another birth in a way.
Yeah, for real, because it all wraps around. Like everything's circular too. The Ferris wheel. Oh my god, there's like, and because like that's on his watch. I did like that watch. That's I want that watch. I wonder if that exists somewhere. I'm sure like Avon must have made it back.
Avon for sure. That was an Avon watch.
They for sure did. They totally did. It must exist because this movie was huge at that time. I remember this TV series. It was quite popular at the time.
I don't remember. I was young. I don't remember it though.
When
the movie came out.
Yeah. I definitely remember my grandma into it because like she's sort of, you know, religious. And then the controversy with the Blue Man. I do remember that. The Blue Man, I do like the Blue Man. I thought that was all neat, cool. Because like how he's like introducing the world, like this is heaven, or this is my heaven, not your heaven. And I did like that. I thought that was neat. I was like, so everyone had their own heaven. And then even the Sarge was like, because he's looking around like, how could you call this heaven? He's like, no, you're looking through my eyes, and it's, you know, what it was before the war, and that's how he sees his heaven. And I was like, oh, that's cool, that's neat. And then I kind of thought the Ruby segment was a little weird because like Ruby almost seemed like almost like mythical. I don't know why, but like Ruby seemed like an other like spiritual thing, like not a human. She seemed like a I don't know, like a spirit or like an angel, like another being, not human. I don't know why, but it's just seemed not human. I think it's just because how she was dressed, and then the surreal
where her heaven was, like just like a diner.
Yeah, it was like a diner in the middle of like the woods with like
Yeah.
mountains, and it was like this is all too surreal, but because like it almost made it like, okay, hang on, what's her game? But that was like him getting over his father. But that was so interesting too, how like it jumped back to how the pier was made and why it was there, and she meets people who were hurt by the pier, and it's almost like she was telling him that the pier didn't hurt you. Like, you don't belong here. You don't belong here at all. Like, you may think like the pier hurt you and you feel miserable about the pier, but the pier didn't hurt you. You're not here. That's why you're,
I think it was like, and it had to be, I was trying to remember. Ari just brought me my book, by the way, so I can flip through it.
Yes.
It was, and I was trying to remember if Marguerite was the third or the fourth when I was rewatching it, but it kind of made sense for Ruby to be the middle. Because it gives you the backstory of like how like Ruby Pier came to be, right?
Yeah.
And like it's also that lesson of like your life is affected by people who come before you, right?
Yep.
Like you will make decisions that impact people you never meet, right? I did think her version of heaven was really interesting. Like I want a haven for all the people who were hurt because of this place.
Yeah. Yep. Because that was interesting too, like all those spirits. It was weird though. It was all like otherworldly. It was almost like I don't know, like she took her, like everyone else's heaven was simple. I guess I should say that. Like Blue Man is simple. Like he's on his perfect day, and there's like nobody there. And then like who was the second one? Oh, Sarge. Sarge makes sense. Yeah, because like it's war or whatnot. But like hers was like she's like in Inception. She's like controlling. She's like moving bridges. Like she's reconstructing. And like the other two were kind of simple. Like she's like reconstructing like reality around her. So that's why I feel like if this was like a bigger budget movie, I feel like they would have done that a lot more with the first two people.
I wish they would remake this with more of a budget. I think it'd be I'm like Frank remake. Like this is all cute.
Yeah, and I feel like the story could be like tighter as well because I feel like there's like a lot of things that are stretched out because it's a mini series or 2 night thing. But like I'm like, this could be tighter. This could be tighter. I do like the wife though. She was number 4 with the weddings. I thought that was really nice. And then her, when she changes back to her form and then she just like disappears and he's like, no. That just reminded me of like Scrooge McDuck when he sees like he's there with the big giant. He's like, no.
Yes.
when he's all by himself, and then the Brutus from whoever that evil Mickey Mouse guy is. It's your brave Scrooge. But yeah, I got vibes from that. And then who was the fifth? Oh, the fifth one.
The little girl. That's like the piece de resistance. Like that's the pinnacle moment of healing.
Yeah, that one was weird because it made me feel bad for Sarge. Because it almost like negated what Sarge was trying to do. And like the boy was actually accurate. He did hear a voice. He did see a shadow, and Sarge stopped him from doing that. But the overall message, the M. Night Shyamalan twist, is that it was her hands that pulled him into the afterlife. And that no matter even if he did kill her, she was okay with him and forgave him because he saved so many lives. And meanwhile, it's like I called that like in the first act. I'm like, he's like saving so many lives, and he's like, I didn't do nothing. I'm like, they're like spelling it out too. Like he every day he rode the rides, or at least like once a week or something. I think they say. Yep, once a week he rode the rides to make sure they were safe, and then he was like on top of it, and like he did everything, and he's like, I didn't do nothing. I was like, come on, you're saving people every day. So at the end, like the story finally catches up with that theme, and I was like, yeah, that's cool, that's neat, because it was true. And then I do like his heaven. It's just like packed. The theme park is like packed to capacity. And they're all there, and it was wonderful. I was like, oh, that's neat. And it was almost like his Titanic moment when Rose dies at the end, and she's on Titanic, and she's looking at the whole crew and people. I could almost hear that like music. I was like, this is great. And then he ends up on the Ferris wheel with his wife. I was like, that's perfect. But I was like, dang it, I wish the fifth person was the little girl, just to show like your life mattered.
You have to read the next book. Like if you want, you got to get your closure. It was so worth it.
He must be one of the 5 people. That's right.
He's one of the 5 people.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like you gotta read it.
Yes.
But I really like that the last person is the young girl, because like the journey that Eddie's going on is really this journey of self-compassion, right? Like in acceptance of who he is, acceptance of the life that he lived, and like seeing himself the way we are. Like to us, it's so freaking obvious. Like, dude, like, look what you lived, right? But like it's such a real story. Like how often do we all get caught in that like
your blinders,
blinders of forgetting what we've done in the world, forgetting who we are, forgetting how we show up, right? And I think that moment of where, you know, it's like Sarge's lesson was sometimes you have to sacrifice, like sacrifice is worth it, right? That lesson came full circle with her because she sacrificed herself for him. And that act though of him washing her, like washing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like it gets me every time. I sob every time of just like washing away the damage and the pain.
Yes.
Almost like in a way, if we all become part of each other, like it's
like he's healing himself at the same time he's healing her.
Yes. Like he's washing away his own pain and sorrow and like the blinders he's had on, because at the end of the day, what Eddie really needed was like to forgive the self, right?
Yeah,
like
forgive himself because he has so much guilt. Because he's so much guilt on himself. It's almost like a baptism as well, because of the washing and him going in the water with her. Yeah, it's like him just cleansing his soul so he could finally cross over,
bring it out, get all that dirty stuff out. Yeah, it's powerful. It's I love. I guess I have a type.
Yes, you have a type. You have a type. You have a type. I've been all over the place. Although, you did mention in the beginning, before I forget, you mentioned our school project. What was it called? The anthology? What was it? I forgot what it was called.
Yes. Our personal anthology, I think.
Yes. It's funny that yours was the 5 people we meet in heaven, and then mine was Watchmen, which was, I think, the last episode.
Interesting.
Yeah, I picked that book Watchmen for my project. Yes. I think. Pretty sure.
Throw back to the anthology.
Yeah. I still have my copy somewhere. I thought it was over here, but I think it might be in the storage.
I slaved way too many hours crying at my computer to not keep that thing.
I know, the same thing here. After that thing was finished, I was like, I spent too much damn time theming it up and designing it, because of course, as I'm the movie guy, like my cover was like Iron Man with the head of, oh God, what's that fake actor? You know, Robert Downey Jr., who played the actor in Tropic Thunder. Yep. So it was that actor's head. No, hang on. Am I even thinking of the right thing? Oh my God, no, it was like the cat, the Elgato at the wheel. Oh my God. It was like an orange cat driving a car. I think that's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, there's so much work that went into it, because I think there was even like pages that were themed after the movie Smoking Aces, because in the movie Smoking Aces was like a cool title sequence. Love that was all in there. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, wow, you just gave me like flashbacks to that binder. Like I didn't throw it away either. Like I spent too much damn time.
I'm gonna keep that till I'm dead and gone.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I was gonna ask you this, but it's sort of like a heavy question.
Ooh, please ask. I like heavy questions.
So what do you think is in the afterlife for real?
How much time do we have? I thought about this.
I know, that's why I didn't want to ask. That's why I'm like, this is too heavy. Doc, this is heavy.
Okay, I'll give my expedited answer, and I'll give my not like completely woo-woo crazy answer. Okay. I think that when we die, I think that like you're first greeted by the people that you love who have gone before you, right? Whether, I'm not sure it's actually them or like in their likeness or like people, you know, their essence or energy, right? But I think there's a period of reunion. And then I think you take time, like if you had a long illness or like depending on how your life on earth was, like you have a period of healing and like like going to like a healing temple, or they have like kind of weird hospital things over there that help you heal, like shed the energy that you brought with you.
Mhm.
And then I think once you've accepted that you're dead, like healed a bit, you go through a life review process. And I think that's kind of what is happening in this book. And it's a different way of showing the life review of like,
Mhm.
it also progresses from like when he was a kid, right? Like to being married. And then ultimately who he was at the end of his life.
Mhm.
And I think what happens in the life review, the way I imagine it, and this might also be like my bias because, you know, we're movie people. Like, I think you kind of like sit in a big movie theater and it's just you and like a spiritual guide or like a therapist that sits with you.
Yeah.
And I think your life plays on like a giant screen.
Mhm.
And you get to like watch it and experience it as a third person, but you also get to experience how you made people feel. You get to experience like what it looks like if like Frank looking at me now in this moment, like you get to see the 360 of your life and you can kind of like choose your adventure.
Mhm.
And you go through that process, and in that process, like it's like almost like an integration of kind of what Eddie's going through, like integrating the lessons of your lifetime into your soul, into your energy.
Mhm.
And you know, it can take the time's not, I don't think time's a thing over there. So it takes as long as it takes, right?
Mhm.
And after you finish this life review, you kind of, it's another choose your own adventure. Like, do you want to reincarnate again? Do you want to go like hang out? What do you want to learn? Like, there's like a bunch of things to do.
Mhm.
But I think that that's kind of like the immediate, like what happens when you pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
What do you think? You're not getting out of the question.
Let's see, if you're putting it back on me, it's like because I'm sure it's better than what I think it is. Because there's like two things that stick in my mind because you know I watch movies, but because I'm sure the afterlife is so much better. But like my two versions that I think it might be, but that's just me because it's me. One, it's going to be like that scene in The Scanner Darkly where he's on the bed and he's just like reading everything that's embarrassing about your life,
Oh no.
and it's like we're going to take as long as it's going to take, and then there's that one version, and then the other version I'm thinking where it's so boring, where it's like Beetlejuice, where you're in the waiting room and you're trying to figure it out, and there's like a manual,
Oh
and
God.
it's not specific enough. Where it's like it's like how do I do this? Am I stuck in this one place? What are the rules? So those are my two. But I do wish that it's something grander. I do wish it's that Gandalf siege where it's like you see the white plane and then you see it and it's like whatever it is, you know. But my mind goes right to those two, either The Scanner Darkly where the guy's reading like, and this day you did this on and then, or it's the Beetlejuice where you're like, Juno, your caseworker, oh
It's
my
like
god,
the
you
ultimate
only
bureaucracy. It's like,
you only get 3 visits and you've already used one.
oh my God.
Oh my gosh, but yeah, that's how I hope it's not that.
You're like, please don't let it be that, but that's what I think it is.
I know exactly. It's exactly. And Shane Ford, thank you for reminding me. It is Kirk Lazarus. So it was the Kirk Lazarus head on the Iron Man body because when I made the book, it was around the 2008, 2009 era of the anthology. So yeah, there's my. Oh, so do you have anything to say about the movie before we move to Pretty Woman?
No, just like, you know, for those who are interested in watching it, like again, it's a TV movie made in 2004. So if you can get past that and just get sucked into the story, it's very worth it.
Yeah, be gentle with it. Be gentle.
Yeah, be kind, be gentle. Oh, we have to do a Rosenbaum though.
Oh, I thought we were going to do that, Dan, but we'll do it now. Okay.
Oh, you want to do it at the end? We can do
it at the end. We'll do it at the end.
Let's do it.
We'll do it at the end. We'll do it at the end. Okay. So
Pretty
I know.
Straight. So
Okay. I rewatched this today, and it's another one of those damn movies, guys. So because I on this show, I'm always up in my Bible. I'm like, I love movies that set everything up in like the first 5-10 minutes, and then you go from there. And this movie is like that. Before I even talk about the synopsis, I want to talk about this because I was watching this movie. I was like, God damn it, that's another one of those movies. I love these movies.
Has a type too.
I have a type. So here's the thing. So we introduce Edward Lewis. He's at his this party in the beginning, and he's going around the party, and like everything is introduced. They mentioned the Met tickets. Like I have tickets to the Met this week. I'm only in town for a week. Daryl can't get my car out. You introduce Daryl, the car driver. You introduce Stuckley. You introduce that he had a girlfriend that talks to his secretary more, and then you see like the aftermath of that. So that's his girlfriend currently, and then he runs into an ex-girlfriend, and she's like, "Yeah, you never really talked to me. We never really connected because your secretary is one of my bridesmaids or was one of my bridesmaids." And you're like, you're going through everything, and you're like learning that he's not good with women. He is so business oriented. You learn that he has the Met tickets. You learn that he's at the hotel. You learn that his car is there. And like, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And then similarly enough, we get introduced to Julia Roberts, and you see like it's done without words, but like she's getting dressed, and you see how like she's like makeshift and like mash up, and everything doesn't quite match. And then you see her history of men, where it's all these photos that are either ripped, folded in half,
How did I
and like
miss that?
and you learn about her, how she's not good at picking guys. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is like one of my like.
I'm going back to rewatch the beginning.
Watch the first 10 minutes because it does the same damn thing. They do it with words for Richard Gere, and they do it visually with Vivian. I love Vivian. I show it like every week on the show. I
do like your Vivian.
My Vivian, my custom Vivian. Because I know there will probably never make merchandise for Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
It's like they're never gonna do that, so I had to make my own, and that was like weeks of research. Like I had to find like a jacket and a hat, and I was like, oh my God, I have all the pieces. This is it. This is perfect. But I love Pretty Woman. So getting to the plot synopsis, Pretty Woman is about Ed, or I think they call him Edward through the whole movie because he doesn't like don't call me Ed or whatever. But he's like this business type guy. Oh my God, that's the other information they tell us, Sarah. In the beginning of the movie, they mention his father passed away.
Yes, they do. I remember that.
And I was like, oh my God, this is like everything you need to know who
the whole movie laid out in 10 minutes.
Exactly. So his father's passed away. He owns this business where he buys stuff and then breaks it apart and sells it off. He's not about creating. He's always about like breaking it apart or whatever. So, oh my God, oh my God, it's just hitting me like a freaking hammer. Like his whole life. Okay, so I'm having a breakthrough, guys. I'm having a breakthrough. So his whole life has been about breaking things apart, but this whole movie, he's building up Vivian. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So, okay, so Edward meets this hooker on the street in Hollywood Boulevard because he doesn't know how to drive this car and he's lost.
The Lotus.
Yep, the Lotus. It rides like it's on rails.
Three-cylinder.
Of course. It was a terrible car, four-cylinder. So he meets Vivian, and Vivian's in the bad spot because she's a hooker, and they owe money because her roommate is a drug addict, so she already spent the month's rent on drugs. So Vivian's trying to get out of her situation quickly, and he pulls over. He's like, I need directions to Beverly Hills. And then she gets in the car, and then down the street, like he doesn't know how to drive the car because like so they switch positions, I was like, oh my God, he's like trusting this hooker to drive him. I was like, she could have stole the car when he got out of the car, but he trusts her, and it shows that she's so cute and trustworthy and honorable and sweet. They get to the hotel, and he's like, he almost lets her go, but he's like, no. Like he is up. Like I love that. It's like love at first sight. Like he can't let her go. So he goes to the bench, and she's like sitting there, and she's like all cute, and like he's like, no, you got to come with me. I'm going to take you upstairs. And she's like, okay, whatever. And they go in their hotel, and it's so funny, like, because it's like a fish out of water story, because it's so high class, high maintenance. And she doesn't fit in there at all.
Pantyhose ripped.
I ain't got any pantyhose. And like, she's all bright and colorful. Oh my God, I love the jacket look. I got to give my custom a jacket, that big giant jacket she wears in the lobby, the raincoat. I like that. And they get in the room, and then he's like, he offers her, no, wait, it's not even that. They just go upstairs for a good time. How much for the night? $300. He's like, done. And then they spend the night together.
Oh no, but he couldn't afford it.
Oh, she jokes about like, you can't afford me. He's like, yeah, what is it? It's like 300. It's like, done. Whatever. Yeah. 300 is nothing to him.
Now the time's on issue. Let's move on.
I know he's like he's so rich and like oh my god, like he doesn't even like want to have sex with her. He just wants somebody
He wants
with him.
companionship.
He just wants company. Like he just wants somebody there because he's just such a lonely guy.
He
And
wants
she's
company without strings.
yes, at first.
Yeah, at first. That's what he thinks he wants.
Yes, and then he falls in love throughout the movie. I guess I'll speed it ahead. He falls in love through the movie, through certain incidences and scenes, and then she gets built up and turns into the pretty woman, and she becomes a lady at the end, a true woman, because she's like feels confident in herself now. She wants to get back to go to school. She wants to live her life now because she always felt like she was held back, and she's had that taste. Like, you know what? I have confidence in myself. I don't have to live this way. I can go forward with my life. And then he's like, I don't want to live without her because like she taught me how to live and have things other than business. Like you don't have to go to work every day. You could take a day off. You could laugh. You could watch old movies or whatnot, old TV shows. But yeah, I love this movie. I love this movie. It's great.
And then he rescues her and she rescues him
right back. Fucking Hollywood. What's your dream? So Sarah, what did you think of Pretty Woman?
Oh my god. Okay, first of all, I love this movie. This is like when I had cable, this was the movie. It's like, oh, I just want to feel good. And it's always on. Like
it's always on.
It's always on, right? So this may be the first time because I rented it this time. So it might be the first time that I saw it without the TV edits. So that was cool. But first, I got so hyper fixated on what's the name of the director?
Gary Marshall.
Gary Marshall. So we watched Beaches last month, and then this month we got Pretty Woman, and I think Princess Diaries has to be in our future because there were so many moments that were just like Princess Diaries when they're having dinner.
Yes.
And she lets go of the escargot and it goes flying. That's literally the scene from Princess Diaries. And then there was another one. When she says to him, oh, your name's Edward, can I call you Eddie? And that's in Princess Diaries. Can I call you Joey? No.
Yeah.
Joe. Right?
Oh my God. Yes.
And then there's the crossover actors are the receptionist.
So many.
The receptionist is the principal from Princess Diaries. I don't know if she was in Beaches. She must have been. Then we had you were right, the bellhop is Mr. Robitussin.
Yes, and he was the guy who sang Sarah, Sarah.
Yep. And then and Joe, obviously Joe. And it was funny because what's his name in the movie? Barry or something like this?
Yeah.
They play the same character. Like,
yes!
He's literally he sees the girl. She's kind of like in a bad spot, but he has a soft spot for her. He helps her get the clothes. He's really happy, and then he plays like that old wise man, like it must be so hard to let go of something so beautiful. Closes the jewelry box, And
I love this movie.
I'm like, he's literally, this is Joe. This is Joe from the Princess Diaries. They basically just, and then the other thing that I really loved is like,
oh wait, hang on. Before we move on, you don't forget about the bald guy who was the store owner. He's the one who's like the French guy who fixes up Anne Hathaway.
Yep. Paolo,
yeah. Paolo. Attack.
Yeah. The other thing, this may have been one that is a little lesser known, but you can obviously tell I've seen the Princess Diaries a million times. The scene where they are putting the ruts back in after Polo is also like very similar to when they're at Mia's high school and they're coming over the intercom and she's like, please do not, it was something stupid. It's like, please do not put your gum on the thing. Like the principal is announcing something to the students. It reminded me of that because like the guy in the background is like announcing something like, all right, everybody, this is a time-old tradition. Like, put the ruts back in the holes. And you're like, what the fuck's going on here?
You just reminded me. There's also two connections. I don't know if they did in Beaches, but there was two outtakes used. So there's an outtake that was used in Pretty Woman. It's the infamous box closing.
Yes.
That was improvised, and that was an outtake, but they left it in. And in Princess Diaries, the outtake that they left in the movie is when Mia falls on her butt on the stands. Yes. That was an outtake. But they kept playing And I was like, oh my God. So like, you're right. Like there's connections to both
So many,
movies.
I'm like, this guy has a type, and I love his. I was just like realizing, like, I love his humor because it's
I
also
love
like
his movies. Yep.
I like how there's in this. By the way, Frank, you were the first person to ever make me notice a director ever in my life. So kudos to you. Because I was like, even noticing, I love how when the way things are introduced, it's introduced like 3 seconds before the thing, and it's like when Barry he's kneeling on the ground with the bellhop, and there's the skid mark on the floor, and
Yes.
he's like, well, sir, I didn't do it. He's like, well, no, you didn't do it, but it's okay, we just have to get it cleaned up. And it's like, why is this in the movie? Like, there's so many moments like that are just so joyful.
I miss those moments in movies because those don't happen anymore.
They don't.
And it,
It's like but it's so good.
yes.
So
Oh
I was
man.
like the whole time, I'm like, oh my God, we have to watch Princess Diaries. Like, we
I
need to
know.
complete the trilogy.
Yes. Oh my God. So what else did you notice like when you were watching this? Oh my gosh. So
Okay, what
excited.
else? So I was like, so when I saw those things, I'm like, I cannot wait to tell Frank that I noticed these. Some other things. Well, first of all, like, Julia Roberts is a goddess. Like, I just love her so much. She is like the epitome of beauty, and like so good at comedy. Like, she just like, there's really never a movie she's done that I didn't like. She's one of those people.
Mhm.
So I was just really, it's enjoyable to see her when, like, it's one of, I think that was that her break, like that movie?
I think she had done movies before, but this was like her first breakthrough because they wanted so many other people. They wanted like everybody else in this movie but her, and he fought for her.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
the other thing that I was doing some research, and I'm sure you know this better than I do, but like the movie started as like this really dark, like
Mhm.
3,000, right? It was supposed to be like really dark, like about him spending $3,000.
Yeah.
You know more of that story?
Yeah, okay, so originally it was like a dark tale, sort of like almost like the other Richard Gere movie, American Gigolo, but it was like a dark movie where it was just about like there was no like romantic comedy, there was no romance, it was all strictly business, and it was called 3000. That was the script title. And there's some elements from that script that are still in the movie, and it's all like right in the beginning too, when like there's the murder on the street,
Mm-hmm.
and then Carlos, the drug dealer, and like how I don't know, it's like all business, like strictly business, like don't kiss, no kissing, no none of that. And I think even like the roommate passed away in the book, or not the book, the
Ooh.
original screenplay. But like there was like it was very dark, and like at the end, I think it ends with him like throwing her out the limo and like throwing money at her, the 3000. And it was like totally dark, and that's when they wanted everybody for the movie. And I think Meg Ryan was offered, but she didn't like the dark material. And then I remember Winona Ryder was also like, it was both Winona Ryder and Jennifer Connelly for the original script, but they were both too young at the time. And I think Molly Ringwald like turned it down flat because she didn't want to do that kind of material, because
Mm-hmm.
she was like, it's too dark for me. But then when Gary Marshall got on, he's like, we're making this a romantic comedy, we're making this a fairy tale. And so like the only elements that stayed are probably those little elements in the beginning of the murder and how dark her
Dark.
world is, and then probably the attack by Stuckley. I'm
I
sure
know
that's. I'm sure
that.
that's. Yeah.
So the best parts, right? Like the part, like I was kind of crocheting while I was watching it, right?
Mhm.
But like the parts I had to put it down and be like, I gotta watch this. Like when they go shopping, the best, right? When it's like, oh, you work on commission, right? Big
Big
mistake,
mistake.
huge.
Big mistake.
Walks
Huge.
out. Like and when I just love that moment of like, I want. What did he say? He's like, um,
Oh, I
oh,
want. There's not enough butt kissing or whatever. You're
like sucking up, and like how much
sucking up.
money do
Yeah.
you want to spend, like a ridiculous, or what, there was like two, like like
Yeah.
all the
And I
money.
like the tie. Oh my god, he would love the tie. Give
I
her
know,
the tie.
take the
Give her
tie
the
off,
tie.
take the
Take
tie
the tie
off.
off. Give her the tie. I was like, this is amazing. This is like the best movie ever made, and I love her outfits in this. I love her
Oh, the
outfits.
fashion. I was reflecting on the fashion, and I'm like, this is like the most like 80s to 90s,
90s,
like
like it's like the
still
best
like the
transition.
80s, but
Yep.
also still 90s. Like you could see
Yes.
the transition, right?
Yes.
And then the other part that I had to put, like the other part I love is the part where he comes in and the lawyer hits her,
Yeah.
And I mean, so fucked up, but he hits her, and Richard Gere comes in, like pulls him off. He's like, rah, it's just like, so it's like you hated this guy the whole movie, and it just felt so good to see that part.
Yes.
And yeah, I think, and I also really like kind of the subplot of the Navy Yard, right?
Oh
And
God, yeah, that's almost similar to Five People You Meet in Heaven. It's like him forgiving his father in
yeah,
this movie, and he needed
building
that help.
building with him, right? Like
Yeah.
we're gonna buy more ships, right? We're gonna buy lots of boats.
Yeah.
And so it just kind
And
of,
then I'm proud of you. And I was like, oh my God, like he's getting like closure. He's getting that thing that he never had from his father. I was like, this movie's so good.
and then my last, like one of my favorite lines from the movie. Well, guess which one do you think it is?
Oh God. Oh God. What's your favorite line from this movie? Oh my gosh. What is it? It can't be the pantyhose line. We just said the pantyhose line. I'm not sure. There's too many. What is it? What is it?
Okay.
I'll be here all day.
It's from hip to toe, my leg is 44 inches. So you have 88 inches of therapy wrapped around you for the bargain price of $3,000.
$1,000.
And that scene is one of the other, when you think of movies, sometimes there's just weird things that just like you always remember. And I think it's also a Gary Marshall thing, but I always remember her toe going into the like the bath, where the water comes out, the bath faucet.
Yeah.
There's a part where like at the beginning before they pan over her, just like her toe kind of playing with that, and then they pan over. I always think of that.
Yeah. I'm sure that was Gary Marshall thing, because there was some, I don't know if it's true or not, but I was reading, I think it's like the Wikipedia, so it could be true, could not be true, I don't know. Maybe there's a commentary track where he says it, but apparently Gary Marshall like was trying to get like a genuine laugh out of her, so he would like tickle her feet before for some scenes. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that would make sense. Like he would probably say like, play with the thing. That was the other thing I liked about too. Oh my God, like how they move around the sets. Again, like just like Beaches, because there's that scene where they're in the hotel room and he keeps moving and she keeps getting closer to him, and like she wants to sit on his legs and like he moves his legs. I was like, oh God, I love this movie. I love this movie so much. It's so perfect.
I also love that that Vivian always has to sit on things, like, and that never goes to, like,
yes,
she's sitting on the thing, on the.
Oh my God, that's so accurate. Oh my God, that's so hilarious. Yes, that's so true. Oh my God, so good.
It's
so
such
good.
a joyful. It's just like it's a joyful movie. It really is.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And like her like quirky fun facts of like how your foot is as long as this part. I was like, oh my God.
I definitely brought that. Like ever since that movie, I'm like, wow, I have a big foot. Like I remember being a kid and being like, oh my God, it is that big.
Oh my gosh, yes, exactly. And I guess we can get to the Rosenbaum thing, because I was going to talk about my favorite scene from the movie, but I was like, nah, or at least moment. It's like a couple of friends. Yeah, I say it now.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, my favorite moment. It's like a little sliver. It's like how she looks, and her smile, and how everything about it. But it's like right after he says done, and she goes under the water, and he's like, "Is that a yes?" And then she comes back up, and she's like covered in bubbles, and she tries to wipe them off, and then he gets the towel to wipe her face, and she has like the most adorable face smile on her. She's like so happy. And I was like, oh my God, that's like my favorite moment. Like I had to like what do you call it? I had to look it up on Twitter, or not Twitter. I had to look it up on YouTube, create a GIF, and then upload it to Twitter. Just I love that little moment of her trying to wipe that suds off her face, and then like she like wipes it off, and then she has like this nice smile. I was like, I love that moment. I love that moment.
$8,000.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good. I love this movie. That's why I made a custom. It's like I love this movie. I need it represented because I love it so much. It's like I have everything else represented. I need Vivian represented.
I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Shane has a funny comment here.
I see that. Gary Marshall's like the Tarantino. Gary Marshall's like, trust me, Julie, I have to tickle your feet for the movie. It's for authenticity. Yeah, I bet so. That's so funny. Oh, anyway, okay, so let's get to the Rosenbaum. So yes. we'll do Pretty Woman first, and then we'll get to 5. So Rosenbaum, how many roses?
It's 3 scale, right?
Yep, 3.
Right, 3 roses. Like Pretty Woman is just like paramount. It's so good. It's so good.
Yes, agreed. 3 roses here. One of my favorite movies ever.
Always that movie you just put on and you're like, it just delivers every time.
It's on my list of 100 favorite movies.
Love it. Love it.
Mhm.
That was easy.
Yes, easy. Okay, and then favorite scene or favorite moment, I guess.
Oh, I forgot we did this. Well, I guess we were.
That's right. I already did mine, so yeah, some of yours.
Well, no, my two favorite moments were when the shopping scene.
Oh yeah, the shopping scene.
Things like huge, right?
Yes.
And then the when he comes in and like he pulls the lawyer off of her and like beats him up. Love that. Yeah. Love that.
I'll give it another moment because I do love the moment. It's the next day when she wakes up and he still doesn't want her to leave and he has all the breakfast there. And then he's on the phone with George Costanza and he's like, I don't like your car. It rides like it's on rails. And he's like, because he's learning things from her. And I was like, that's so good. And then, oh my God, hang on. Another favorite moment is at the end when he goes on the balcony.
And he conquers his fear of heights and he goes to rescue her. It's so good.
It's perfect. 3 roses.
Perfection.
Oh my gosh. Perfection. Okay, so I think that's everything. So favorite scene. And then, yep. Okay, so next thing is 5 people you meet in heaven. How many roses?
I'm going to go 2 roses. Because it's a TV, I think like there's room for improvement. Like I wish a blockbuster would like remake this because I think it'd be like so fire.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I'd say 2 roses, and yeah, I'm gonna stick to that.
Yeah,
because I like the story. It's the story. Yeah.
I was kind of going to go lower, but there's things from it that have stuck with me. So I'm gonna stick with
what stuck with you.
Just like the plot elements of how like I could totally envision like a bigger budget version of this movie, and then just like the Ferris wheel, like the Ruby's Pier, that whole thing, like the way it looks like stands out. So that's really good not product design, set design. And then I also like the Blue Man. That's another Jeff Daniels performance I have in my head. So I'm gonna give it with a 2 because I was gonna give it like a 1.5. I'm gonna give it a 2. I'm gonna give it a 2. Because I was going to give it a 1.5, but like honestly, throughout the day, it's like it stuck with me. There's things that I like about the movie, and I can visualize it. And I would probably want to see like the cool like CGI huge version of this. But yeah, I'd see that. So yeah, I give it a 2.
We did it, Grandma.
Don't give her credit. Don't give her credit.
And what was your favorite scene?
Favorite scene. It was the one where they're dancing, and he's like, "I want to see you the way I remember you." And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's great. That's perfect. I love it. What's your favorite?
Yeah. So many of them. I mean, that scene, I love that scene because it also reminds me of like, that would be something Ari would say to me. He's just like, my hairs are going gray. He's like, I love it. It's so beautiful. I'm like, you're the only man to say that. So to pick another one, let's see. I love the ending. Like I love when he washes the burns off of her. Like I just think that's so symbolic, and like I like also like you're making that connection to like baptism, right? I'm not Christian or very religious. I'm more on the woo woo, but there is something very cleansing about water, like cleansing energy, like releasing, like and I just think it's so that's
washing away your scars.
Yeah, it's powerful to see that, and like for him to do that to her, right? And she's like, I forgive you, like and it brings the story together. So I love that part. I like every time I'm just like just sobbing, ugly crying. Yeah.
I thought it was almost going to remind me of the other movie, but it didn't. But I'm kind of what's that movie called? Oh God. Oh, why am I forgetting? There was a movie I thought it was going to remind me of, but after the movie was over, like it's nothing like that movie. Oh, Nightmare Alley. Nightmare Alley is another carnival movie. But yeah. It's the one where
he likes fairs and amusement parks and movies. They're always really cool and inherently cinematic.
Exactly.
Because it's like magical. Like Grease, like any movie you've ever seen with like a fair, it's like
it could either be magical or it could be very like dark and creepy.
Like Zombieland.
I was gonna say Nightmare Alley because like there it is, like Nightmare Alley. Nightmare Alley is this creepy one. And that one's a circular one. Oh my God, maybe it's like the anti 5 people you meet in heaven, because that movie is about this guy who is a terrible person and he goes through all these things and then he ends up, I don't know how to spoil the ending. If you want to see it, you should see it.
I do want to see it. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it.
Scanner for me.
Oh yeah, because I was so excited about Scanner Darkly. But yeah, there was but that one I feel like that spoiler might have helped you
It did.
understand you. But like Nightmare Alley is pretty straightforward, but I do like Nightmare Alley. And it's sort of like the anti Five People You Meet in Heaven. And the other carnival movie I was thinking of, even though it has nothing to do with this movie, was We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, where that has that weird carnival stuff. It's the animated movie where all those dinosaurs are like that's John Goodman. It's like a T-Rex and a Triceratops.
But it's not a Land Before Time movie?
No. It's where the dinosaurs are in the dinosaur time, and then they're picked up by this scientist. I forgot what his name was.
It sounds vaguely familiar. Like I might have seen it when I was a kid. When you said
might have.
Goodman.
It's like roll back the rock to the dawn of time, so the earth is smoking and the lava cooled. And there's like weird like monkey and evolution stuff at the end, and it's all at the carnival. It's weird.
It sounds weird. It sounds great.
Dude, Shane, when that happened in Nightmare Alley, oh my god, like I was like, I love this movie. So no spoilers to Sarah, but when that's just a quote from the movie, Mr. I was born for it. Oh my god, I love that moment so hard because it's like
It's so hard.
Because they set it up and then it pays off at the end. I was like, yes, this is the perfect movie. Anyway, so next month is October.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
I was like, we're not going to be able to find a connection between these two movies until you started telling the synopsis of Pretty Woman. If you go back and replay it, my face went like this because both of the main characters' names are Eddie.
Oh my god.
I was like, how are we going to, there's no way there's a connection other than the love story. But then I was like, Eddie and Edward.
Oh my god, that's the connection. That's it.
But he's not Eddie. He's Edward.
He's Edward. Yep.
So sorry. I had to throw that out there.
It's perfect though. It's perfect. Yeah, it's great. I thought there was another one too, but I don't remember. It's like a specific line. I'm like, that's weird. It's not because I think there's like it's like a weird offhand line, like a weird line that doesn't stand out. But I think both movies had it. I was like, oh, that's weird. But yeah. So next month,
spooky season is among us.
Spooky season.
Super Bowl. I was thinking about this today. I'm like, what crazy ass scary movie is he going to make me watch this month?
I know. I even had a list. I was going to write it down, but I forgot because I had to reset my computer. I was like, why? Every time I set up last minute, it always has to do a reset. So I didn't make the list, but I have some in mind.
Juliana has two suggestions: Beetlejuice and The Shining. Beetlejuice is good.
October suggestion: Beetlejuice or The Shining. Let's see. What were mine? Audience, what do you want Sarah to do? Do you want Sarah to have a funnel time, or should we go dark? Should we go dark? So my happy options are like Casper.
I love Casper. Hilary Duff, young Hilary Duff.
That's Casper and Wendy. I'm talking about the Christina Ricci Cat Baloo.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Hang on.
If it helps you make your decision, Frank, I have a movie. Oh my god, I love that. I love that for you so much.
Cat Baloo.
If it helps you make your decision, I think the movie that I'm gonna choose is more on the happy side of things of Halloween. So if you want to do a contrast.
I don't know. I want to give you something lighthearted other than Pretty Woman, because the other movie I had in mind for you that we could talk about, and it's not too hardcore, but you could still like it, is Christine. I think that was the other one. So it's Casper and Christine.
Okay, what's Christine about?
Christine is about this red car that is possessed, or it's not even possessed. It's like a demon. But
I remember hearing something about that.
It overtakes the kid who drives it. It's almost like a relationship. Like the car is like a female. It's cool. There's those two, and then the other two, I was like, or should we talk about Silence of the Lambs?
I love Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, you love Silence of the Lambs? Okay. Okay. Oh, you've seen it. You've seen it. Of course you've seen it. Oh my god, because it's so good.
It is really.
I could ramble about that movie all damn day. And it's so
been a while. I haven't seen it since I was I went through this phase in high school where I was really into scary movies. I watched all of them, and I definitely did the whole series, I think, of Silence of the Lambs.
I love Silence of the Lambs. I remember
it's so creepy. It's so good though.
TikTok. Where will it tickle you? Son of a bitch. So good. I love those movies. Oh my gosh. And then the other one was The Thing.
Thing. I've never seen that.
John
either.
Carpenter's The Thing, but I think that might be too hardcore for Sarah. We'll see what the audience
What did
says.
the audience? What's the audience say? We have Shane who says Christine.
Christine. Oh man, there's so many though. So what are your ideas? What is your two?
You're gonna laugh at me. It's two of them, and they're like the most cheesy. Okay, one is actually like I cried. It was like a good story.
Okay.
So the first one I'm obsessed with Hotel Transylvania. I dress up as Mavis almost every year. I literally have like I just background. I always like have grandiose visions for what's gonna happen at Halloween, and then it becomes Halloween. I'm like, shit, I didn't do any of it.
I'm
So
slowly working on my Candyman. Oh my gosh.
I have like the vampire teeth. Like I have a set and I have like denture. So it always like turns into some sort of vampire, but I have the whole, like I have a Mavis wig. I have like the red and black striped things, like the thing. So I like all of the Hotel Transylvania movies.
You have the perfect look for Mavis.
And that's the other thing. I'm like, I basically, like, I even get the flippy hair thing. So she was also a big part of the reason I ended up cutting bangs finally. So thanks, Mavis. And then the other one, I really love the movie Frankenweenie. Like it got me good.
Oh damn, that's good.
It's a really like when I watched it, I was like, like there's something about dog movies just so dark and twisted when a dog dies, but that movie is really good.
I'm a huge Tim Burton fan. I love
Me
Tim
too.
Burton.
So I'm leaning towards Frankenweenie, honestly, but I might still dress up for our show as Mavis.
Oh yeah, I think we should dress up. Absolutely.
I definitely need to dress up for a Halloween show.
Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to think of my outfit. I might do my test run of my what do you call it? My Candyman, because I have the hook, I have the chest, and I have the jacket. I just need the innards. I need the scarf, and I need the pants. But I'm almost there.
Yes.
I'm almost there. I'm excited. I'm almost thinking about skipping the bumblebees, but I need at least some bumblebees. I have to do some research on that. Yeah, I need some bumblebees. Okay, have Shane Ford. What's he say? Christine is genuinely good middle ground for horror. It's very well shot and suspenseful, not super gory, but you can show it to people who aren't into horror.
I can do horror. I'll talk. Like I'm not afraid of gore.
Oh my god, I almost want to pick The Thing then. No, but like it's like I want to do something that all people can watch, but I don't know. Like maybe The Thing might be like bring the people. I don't know. I'm thinking. Casper or The Thing. Casper or The Thing. Or Christine. Damn it, they're all so good. I wish there was like a little random.
I wish Halloween was every month.
I know. Oh my god, like I love these things. Maybe I can hold Christine for later because that whole movie takes place between September and New Year's.
Okay.
Because like the whole movie has like dates.
Ooh, we got another. Oh, now we're just making it harder now.
I might go Silence of the Lambs.
It's really good. It's a good one. Oh, it is Christine's 40th anniversary.
I know. That's the reason why I want to talk about it. I just saw it on the big screen. Oh, damn it. This is tough. So you're picking Frankenweenie.
I'm doing Frankenweenie.
Final deal. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Like, how can you go through October without a Tim Burton movie? You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, okay, I'm going to knock off Casper.
Okay.
So either Christine or The Thing or Silence Lambs, because I do love Silence Lambs. Oh my god, I'll go with Silence Lambs. I think there's some good story there. I feel like Christine, I'll wrap it up quick, but like I think there's some story for.
I'm excited because you said you have a lot to share, so I'm excited to hear what you have to share about Silence of the Lambs. But we can also do Christine Thanksgiving.
Yeah, something like that, because I think there is a Thanksgiving scene where he goes to see the guy. So yep, there's that. But for Thanksgiving, I could do like.
I know. I was genuinely so excited for the last 3 months of our show because I'm like, so many good movies. We're gonna. Halloween movies, Thanksgiving movies, Christmas movies. I'm already starting to think about December. I'm like, we got to pick the perfect.
Oh my god, like, what are we gonna do for Christmas? Oh my god.
We may need to do like a MoMA. Like, how can you only pick one?
That's what I'm kind of thinking we should do with Halloween, just as a test run.
We could try it.
Pick our like 2 or favorite. Let's do 3. Let's do 3 movies. So you have your 2, Hotel Transylvania, Frankenweenie, and then I have my 3. I have Christine, The Thing,
and we're gonna watch all 5.
Oh, maybe that'd be too tough because we do have to watch them.
Yeah.
And we usually do last minute. Okay,
I
let's get
literally expecting to finish the 5 to Be in Heaven tonight.
I know. I literally I watched them both today. Like Sunday when I have with you.
Can you imagine we have 5? We'd be dead.
We'd be dead. Okay, we have to keep it simple. Okay, Silence of the Lambs. Boom. Silence of the Lambs. I'm done.
Decided.
Done. Decided.
Frankenweenie.
Yes. And then we could talk about sequels. We could talk about my childhood with Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs has always been there. I'm sticking with it. So Silence of the Lambs and Frankenweenie.
Love it. I also just love the
Oh my god. It was such a hard choice because I love all of them. I love The Thing. I love Christine. I love Casper. Oh my god. I love Casper so much. I asked Christina Ricci to do the Pinky thing.
Oh, I love
Casper. My god.
I've seen both versions of Casper, and Christina Ricci one's really good.
Mm-hmm.
You watched the new Wednesday series?
No, I don't have Netflix.
Oh my god, Frank.
I don't do Netflix.
I know, but it's so good.
I'm like Machete. I don't do texting. I don't do Netflix.
I'm gonna pick a Netflix movie.
Oh my gosh, no. Netflix movie. Oh my lord. I'd have to get a subscription and everything. I used to do discs, and then I stopped doing discs. And then I stopped.
Yeah, that was way back in the day.
No, they still have it. They
really?
Still have it. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm excited for spooky season. When are we?
Yes.
We'll pick a date off air.
Yes.
Okay. So I can wait. Maybe we can do it before Halloween. So then, if I get a Halloween costume together,
yes. I think I'm going to do a test run for my definitely for my Candyman.
I feel like it's going to be Mavis. I say it now. I also my backup costume is Wednesday Addams because I have so maybe
I'll have to look. You
have
to look. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't even have any other than that. I have my Michael Myers, but those are all masks. All of mine are masks, but the Candyman one is the fake chest, and I got to get all my pieces.
Ooh, I like where Shane's going with this. I agree with Shane. I think you need to do a stream with Luke.
I think it was Wednesday's got your girl in it though. I know my Jenna Ortega.
Oh my gosh, she is so awesome, and it has Christina Ricci in it, and it's so good. The twist at the end.
Got to do a Wednesday stream with Luke. Oh my god, no! Luke doesn't like. Luke does not like Jenna Ortega. It cracks me up how much he doesn't like her. Oh my gosh! But I love her because she was in the movie X, and I love X, and then she's of course in the Scream movies. So I was like, oh yeah, I love Jenna Ortega.
He's like the next generation of horror.
Yeah, she's like the next generation of Christina Ricci.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of which, before we head out, I want to mention it on here because I don't think I mentioned it on my stream about Fan Expo. But one of the questions that cracked me up about Fan Expo, because Christina Ricci could not talk about movies or making movies because of the strike. But someone tried to ask her, what's your personal relationship with Tim Burton? Because she was on the Wednesday show and she was in the movie Sleepy Hollow. And she says, I have no personal relationship with Tim Burton. I was like, that's amazing. I love that. I don't know if she was just saying that to avoid the question or if it's truth or they're just work for hire and we're not friends. We're just, business. That's what it cracked me up. She's like, I have no personal relationship with Tim Burton.
The savagery.
I know. Hang on. What's the last thing? Let's see. The great Ortega debate. Oh my God. Just Luke doesn't like her. Oh my gosh. I love her. Anyway, so thank you for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.
Next month is Frankenweenie, Silence of the Lambs. Spooky season. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
The Super Bowl, aka the Super Bowl.
It truly is my Super Bowl because I have a whole shelf of horror movie characters. Right
I love that you just lit that up so casually. It's like your lair.
It's my lair. Oh my gosh. But yes, so tune in next month. We'll figure out the date through texting or DMs. We'll figure that out.
Great.
I'll announce it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This was
you.
a good episode. Good episode. Thank you, Sarah. Yep.
Bye.
I see your background totally got dark. Oh my gosh.
I know. The sun's going down.
It's getting dark. I'm scared. Okay. See you next month, guys.